Okay, well, I'm looking forward to seeing the game in your hands now. Let's get to it.
Thank you so much, Shiva. We do get into it. Game number 1, Jonathan. NAVI up against BetBoom. What do you think about these drafts, John? Oh, we didn't really talk about it at all quite yet. Do you like either draft a bit more?
Yeah, I think I do enjoy what NAVI has built up for themselves. This early physical kind of output that they're going for. This pretty high tempo that you can bring out. They can kind of counteract the split pushing that you might want to get done here on the side of BetBoom as well. You know, you've got good clear with a Pugna. You've got decent ways of just dragging some creeps around here with Zayats as well. So I think they can manage this style that BetBoom is bringing out, but they have to kind of win lanes. I think that's the one caveat here for NAVI. Their lanes have to go pretty darn well to hit this tempo, because if you're going to be playing from behind, you've potentially got the Bristleback and the DK that's just going to sit back and farm. Your SF connecting with just the Enchantress plus the Pugna might not be enough in coming up with solutions for some of that early pressure from BetBoom. So this is where we have to see whether or not NAVI can bring out some of that laning prowess up against, you know, the favorites in BetBoom. But we have seen NAVI do that before. We have seen them in some games where their laning phase just looks amazing.
It certainly can be that way. And I always like to remind people, Jonathan, this Niku kid, very, very cocky. Very cocky, this Niku kid. And I mean, sometimes he performs, sometimes he doesn't. I want to say most of the time he is very exciting to watch. You'll remember him from his mid-undyings, Jonathan.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that's the one we like to mention quite a lot. Speaking of the devil, Niku, of course, on the mid SF, going to be up against the Nature's Prophet of GPK. Jonathan, how should this mid lane go?
I mean, it should be pretty much going the way of Niku. There's not much you can really do to manage this as an SF, as a Nature's Prophet. You can just kind of try to farm. You can't come too close. You don't have too much pressure onto the SF. You can't really use Treants, not that you usually do nowadays anyhow. So this should be pretty free for Niku. Should be happy enough to just get his farm. I think the key here for GPK is just soaking some of that EXP up and looking for those opportunities on the side lanes. He has gone for Nature's Prophet, as we have seen a lot of mids go nowadays. Early aggression, get some early gold for your team, almost like a bounty hunter very early on in that sense, and just kind of escalate from there. The issue is, again, whether or not you can have those connections onto the side lanes. There are opportunities. There's some squishy supports. We'll have to see if GPK can kind of eke something out, say, by his level 5. A little bit of a jump on PMA.
Yeah, PMA in trouble already. Kiritic going to find first blood very early on, just that level 1 mark, and he'll be very happy with that start. Best start you could have asked for here for the side of BetBoom. Not so much for NAVI. PMA probably not going to be too happy about that, but in fairness, these early timings with the Jakiro Juggernaut, it's pretty revolting to play against.
And it is. You really don't have much to do there for PMA, and we heard the panel talk about it. The Jug plus the Jakiro, when they find those early kills on Bristle, it's just going to be a rundown. For PMA, it's going to feel like maybe level 3 stabilizes a little bit more even then, with how far behind you'd be expected to be at that point. It can still be a little bit of a struggle for PMA. So not expecting any difficulties for Kiritic on this Jug. Very straightforward lane to play. Not much they can do to try to disrupt. We're seeing PMA already trying with the pulls, but you can see how punishing a Jakiro is. Just get some of that Liquid Fire, Liquid Frost on, get a couple of right clicks with your dual breath as well, and you just lose half your HP.
It's a lot of damage. It's not very fun for old PMA at the moment, that's for sure. See how he does try to deal with it. I mean, it just keeps going as well. Kataomi's not looking to back off, just continuing this aggression. Of course, top lane, we haven't really talked about that one too much. You've got Riddies here going up against this Muerta. And, I mean, so far, Save just trying to be as annoying as humanly possible. Do you expect this lane to go either way here, John? Is it just a farming lane we're expecting?
Yeah, this is the most stable lane out of all of them for both sides. You've got a DK, you've got a Centaur, both are just going to be farming up. The key thing here is for kind of trying to just mitigate some of these pulls, and Save is always good at contesting. And I think the one thing to always be aware of when you've got the Save Muerta, this guy lines up his shots well. He knows where to be, he knows where to drop that calling every single time. He is getting out-poked quite hard by Riddies, but the beautiful thing about that Muerta as well is that you'll always have a damage source into Decrep. Mind you, a support Muerta doesn't tend to have that much damage with, say, Gunslinger and right-clicks when you pop Pierce the Veil, but you've always got something to at least maybe stop a blink if they're trying to save or something. So there's always some of that utility coming out from Save. But again, very passive lane. Maybe you can start to play around with, say, a stun into a dead shot with calling, but hard to see a DK falling very early on in that lane.
Yeah, certainly so. It should be a pretty safe time for him. So far 1-0. Mid lane has been favoring Yakult just a little bit. It has been a bit of a even trading style lane though. GPK not falling too far behind whatsoever. pretty much expected. Suppose as the levels do come up on Niku, maybe you expect a bit more aggression with those raised plays, but for now, GPK just doing a very nice job of sitting back and not allowing any kind of opportunity here for Niku. And I suppose either way, both mid laners looking pretty happy right now.
That they would be. I think for GPK, again, he's going to be watching those side lanes. He's going to want some aggression coming out from either top or bot, more than likely bot lane, which again, when you have a Jakiro and Jug, there's a lot of opportunities to set something up for that early teleportation to come in, just not quite yet. The lanes have stabilized just a tad bit. You are finding some good build-up on pretty much the entirety of the side of BetBoom. You're not too far behind Na'Vi in terms of CS at the least. PMA is the one suffering the most. And we have seen this with Bristle. You fall a little bit behind, it can take a while to catch up. But at level 3 with Double Bracer, harder to kill off.
Certainly so, though. Kataomi chased down. Zayat's able to secure that kill with PMA. Is now Kiritich. He'll be okay to retreat, but they'll be more than happy with just securing the Jakiro's life. Bit of relief here for PMA and get back to the farm game for himself. Kiritich, of course, no struggles whatsoever on the Juggernaut. Probably really has no fear down at this bottom lane, as long as he does have spin available. Highly doubtful they can actually kill him off. We will see Kataomi eventually just make his return back into the bottom lane.
Yeah, I think the one thing to remember is, again, when you're pushing it to the limit with spin, as mentioned by Gunnar, Quilt Spray doesn't care, it's physical, it's going to go through the spin, and the stacks don't get dispelled as the rotations here.
Absolutely is. Zayat's going to go down. PMA now in danger once again. They'll continue the chase, but they haven't really got the slows. In fact, Kiritich does need to be a little bit cautious.
Don't leave the money.
We're starting to stack up. Looks like they're all going to be just fine.
Pick up the money bags.
Well, where is it? Did they forget about it?
Yeah, he left a bunch.
Oh.
Oh, they're gone.
You can't do that.
Yeah, they're gone.
Oh.
He picked most of them up. He left 3 bags. Not, not the most gold at this point, like 18 gold maybe, so no biggie. But that is the rotation we're looking for, right? And that's the activity you'd expect from GPK. A little bit more top.
Yeah, absolutely. They are going to jump in, save. Bit of danger, trying to go after Riddies, and he does secure the kills. Now saved, trying to find a way out. Miro with the body blocks, but not going to be enough against the breathe fire, and got the juice. Obviously not going to try to deal with Miro here at all by himself, but nevertheless, support's being traded. I don't think you're really unhappy either way. Just do support, not too big of a deal.
You're maybe a little bit happier on the side of BetBoom. It's a lot of resources coming out from Got the Juice, so he does have the wand charge at least for some mana injection, but he'd rather save that, of course, for HP, which means he's not going to have as much to play around with that lane.
GPK, mid lane, hopping a pretty big gank here from Na'Vi as Zayats and Riddies making the rotations over, and that's one thing that we didn't really talk too much about, but the support duo of Na'Vi, they can connect into this mid T1 tower very early. I mean, you've got a Pugner Enchantress with a Siege Creep. There is no defending this once GPK is down. And that is, again, one thing Na'Vi can really start to snowball, right? Like, just keep doing this every single chance you get.
Yeah, maybe start to set up something in the triangle to set some vision, ensure that there's no catch-up farm flowing through. And again, play into that high tempo that you're looking for, right? Because once you hit level 6 and got the juice, you're going to be looking to play even more towers with all of that damage.
Looks like they might be grouping up top over the Shrine of Wisdom. Zayat's actually not going to get hit by the dead shot of save. So does manage to secure that shrine. Nice TP away from our Centaur. So Na'Vi unable to secure a kill, but they want the tower. They don't care for the kill, John. This is a really kind of a death ball strat almost, it feels like. They're just running at these towers at such an early moment. And I imagine the bottom T1 tower may not last too long either at this rate, John.
No, just a little swing over. And I think the big question now for the side of BetBoom is, where's your damage coming in from later on in these fights? We were talking about the potential with, say, Jakiro. He's got a lot of output, but it's going to take, level 6 when you get Macro Pirate, still a ways off, especially with just having one shrine. I think the double shrine would have helped BetBoom weather the storm a little bit more. Your Jug with Omni Slash isn't going to feel particularly amazing against a Bristleback or DK anytime soon. So it's a matter of all these timings for Na'Vi lining up. And yeah, the net worth lead isn't amazing by any means, just less than 1k. But what you can do with the map control now for Na'Vi is the big part. You take this tier 1 down bot, you start to set up some forward vision. All of a sudden, you can't reach across the river to set up for these ganks that GPK really wants to find.
Yeah, very, very tough situation now for GPK. Just been choked out of his own lane, and certainly it just doesn't feel like the opportunity is going to be there right now against what Na'Vi are providing. I do wonder if they just make the rotation down bottom here. I mean, Niku's already halfway to level 8. Full level ahead of GPK right now. And I think you may as well just go for the final tier 1 tower. We'll see. Niku's still sticking around the mid lane here. GPK, of course, trying to keep up. Niku will just clear out the creep wave and keep GPK. And this is another thing you can do against these Prophets. Just keep the waves pushed out. He can't leave the lane.
No. And it's going to be every lane that gets fixed like that. Again, you've got the Pugna who can also do that if the NP's trying to jump around.
Karaomi. Already enchanted up. Will be able to eventually start running. Blood Grenade did, of course, land from Zayats, but it's not proving to be enough quite yet. Those Zayats just diving right in. PMA here as well, and Karaomi is indeed gone. And look at that, Jonathan. Navi onto their 3rd tier 1 tower prior to the 10-minute mark.
Yeah, I mean, it's just beautiful. I think, again, it's this understanding of what they have to do with their drafts. And when you think about Navi in past tournaments, it feels like...
Niku. Yeah, they've committed the Omni, the Requiem. Oh, it's not perfectly timed. Nice attempt, though, from Niku. It's PMA. She's getting some money backs as they do get out of there. And Kiritic, he will take the tip, of course, from his teammates. A very nice Omni/committal and a nice escape out as well.
Yeah, an important kill to find with how much Niku's been getting. And he has been sort of the backbone of all of this aggression coming out from Navi, as you're still needing that build-up on Got the Juice, needing some of that build-up on PMA as well. So it is the SF that you're looking to connect onto the side lanes. And that is also the one core that you can kill. Right? Again, you have issues with Bristle, you have issues with DK. A very lucky find to just catch Niku off guard at that moment, even without the supports in. Just having that opportunity with GPK, finally getting some charges up on his urn as well, so he's going to have a lot more of a threat if a rotation does come in, going into that full Spirit Vessel, which will definitely help with so much regen on hand, with the threat of life drain, and of course the Nature's Attendance later on. So you are finding some ways of stopping this as well. I think the key thing for BetBoom is, again, stemming the bleeding. Just hold on. These tier 2s can't fall as fast, of course. Just try to get some vision out. Look at the wards they've set up. Very nice and defensive. Nothing across the river. They're very focused on just playing on their side of the map, forcing the side of Navi to overextend, perhaps, and trying to find openings when that commitment is made.
Probably the smart way to play it. I mean, if you're BetBoom right now, you're just trying to bide your time a little bit, hit that mid-game timing, and start to move out from there. And Navi, with all these tier 1 towers gone now, you kind of question what the next objective is. Might be time for them to sit back and kind of do the same thing and just secure some farm. GPK, he'll move in, got the juice the target, but he gets the stun off in time. They'll still land the Sprout, but he can quell through it. Miero cutting him off with the Centaur on the way out. But it's not going to matter. They don't have quite enough control yet. They got the juice perfectly fine. As now Niku, he's got Requiem in 2 seconds. Invis as well. No sentries placed down. But he's not going to take the risk in trying to go after Miero with that. Instead, he'll just hold his position in that dire jungle, hoping they come to him.
I think they saw that smoke through their ward. Nice little sneaky vision right in that slit. So they might have seen the smoke, even though they're trying to sneak around here. They should be aware on the side of Navi, and you already have, PMA pulling out from bot. Nice little read from Navi. Nice little sneaky ward as well to spot that smoke.
Certainly so. PMA, the right thing, just getting the hell out of there. It's time to take the stacks in the triangle instead. Sadly for BetBoom, it's going to be a bit of wasted time for them. They will also find a nice amp damage rune now, that bottom room swatter. And Niku, of course, will say thank you very much. Take that for himself. Yeah, it seems like Navi also just happy to sit back for a little bit, just secure some farm and get some core items up. BetBoom probably welcoming that bit of farming time, considering the way things have gone. As Zayats, mid lane, will be chased down. Omni/ even committed to ensure they can secure this kill. I think Kiritic just understanding they don't have time to waste chasing this Enchantress.
No. And it's a fine kill to find. Again, Omni-slashing any of the 2 bigger targets, probably not going to really do much. Omni-slashing Niku's your best bet, but it's unlikely Niku will put himself so forward after what happened last time around. So you just take what you can get, you go back, you reset, you keep that farm game going. Battle Fury up for Kiritic is a big timing, as he can now just start to overtake the net worth, right? Like, despite this game state, Kiritic has been trading blows with Got the Juice on number 1, and he's going to be able to maintain that parity, if not a slight advantage, as the game goes on. A little bit of a chase down top.
Gonna try for Riddies now. Riddies, silenced up, does crawl through the tree line, but it probably won't matter. He'll try for a TP to Crepify, and it's going to be enough. It will be enough. Quick thinking from Riddies. He will escape, and I'll tell you what, it's going to be very annoying for GPK. Just every attempt he's had at a gank with his team really hasn't been panning out.
Yeah, it's not been panning out, and it's been wasting a lot of time on the map. Again, just look at the position Navi gets when you're kind of committing that hard with that kill on good old Zayats. It didn't really matter. You've got room up top and bot to keep farming. You make that move up top, it frees up the bot lane again for PMA to just keep farming up, for Niku to hit his big item spike with the Yashakaya to get that Requiem fully going. And you have to be a little bit aware of that on the side of BetBoom. Again, this is playing into their style with the NP pick. They're trying to maximize it to its full extent. But if Navi bails out of a lot of those engagements, they're happy too.
The top Stampede to try and save. And that will be more than enough. He'll just pierce the veil and TP out of it. Meanwhile, GPK trying to get started on this mid-tier 1 tower with the dominated creep of Miero. I love the skellies coming out. And there'll be no defense for this either, it seems like. They'll just allow it to go down. Eventually a glyph will be forced and PMA will eventually make his way over. And so perhaps they won't let the full committal go. In fact, they will protect it in the end. Very, very nice.
Yep. Managed to snag themselves an extra Shrine of Wisdom here as well at the 14-minute mark. So they're feeling pretty good about themselves. Again, getting much needed EXP you'd want on these supports, always massive. Karaomi already having that value point in the macro power. The maxed out Liquid Frost and Fire is really what's going to be threatening here from the Jakiro. Just one little Liquid Frost. The damage coming through is going to be insane. You even have a little Ripper's Lash just to help that process if someone overextends. So again, just more tools for the side of BetBoom. And for Navi, again, they were off to a good start. They took all these tier 1s by the 9-minute mark. It's just slowing down severely in the last 6 minutes. Again, waiting for this build-up on PMA and on Gauntlet Juice, but it's also just a ton of space. Even though these ganks weren't panning out for the side of BetBoom in some cases, it's been a lot of space for Kiritich. Still #1 in net worth, has the Yasha into the Manta now, is getting all of that free space. The defensive wards giving him a lot of room, a lot of confidence to just play a little bit extra forward if he'd want to. And at some point, Navi, I mean, they're still strong. Again, they have just hit their Yashakaya timing on Niku and are working towards a blink, which isn't too far off, all things considered.
Nothing on PMA. He's a tanky boy, though. Of course, with Riddy's right behind him, there's no real chance in hell of killing him off. Spark will be dropped as well. Niku, though, getting a nice Arcane Rune up at the top rune spot. On the bright side for BetBoom, Kiritich, he's been having a very free time. Top of the net worth board now on the Juggernaut and is starting to escalate out of control with the Battle Fury up. So that is happy days for BetBoom if they want to just put their trust into Kiritich. Navi, I do wonder if they're at all concerned about this Juggernaut and the farm rate that Kiritich does currently have. But there's not too much they can do about it right now anyway, in fairness. It is a bit of a nice spike for BetBoom at the moment.
That it is. It's still a lot of room as well for Gauntlet Juice. I mean, Maelstrom's coming in, full Mjolnir's coming in, along with a Blink Dagger next. And that could be the launching point once you've got the stable initiation, the Blink on Niku and Gauntlet Juice, just to actually get this fight started your way. That could just be it for Navi. Wait for that timing to be up. A little bit of room for BetBoom. But again, try to reclaim some space on the map. Bot tier 1 just going down with no contest. A nice little forward ward to set up for a fight around this area later on, or just for a little snipe from GPK, which would be useful to, again, just get the money flowing with Nature's Prophet. Which, again, hasn't been the most active game for the NP mid, but also not the slowest, all things considered, considering how both sides kind of want to go about it. So, yeah, they've laid the foundations well. I think for Navi, again, once these timings are up, 1 blink up now for Gauntlet Juice and 1 blink already up for Niku. This is the point where you will have to start to look to make some plays. This is when you're really strong. You've got your initiation. You've got ways of just getting a stun into a very quick Requiem with a Yash and Kaya. We'll have to see if they start to make something happen off of this smoke. Again, lots of defensive wards, but nothing to spot out the smoke at the very least across the river.
Keep in mind, you also have the blink up on Miero, and Miero certainly has that counter initiation possibility with his own blink in for the stun. Navi, they have grouped up and smoked up as 3 thus far. PMA, he'll lead the way for his side, and they're looking towards Miero. Miero will quickly blink away, though, seeing PMA showing up, knowing something is a little bit awry here. And immediately Navi, they just bolt towards the bottom lane. They want something out of this smoke. For now, it seems like the only thing they're going to get is Kataomi, though. And Kataomi, he's already kind of done his job. He's pushed out the wave. He's tanking the gank. They know the smoke was coming. And so ultimately, this smoke, I wouldn't really call it quite successful.
No, not quite. And that does reveal all your tools now. They should be able to check the inventory and see those blinks. So the surprise factor is kind of gone. You've done a great job of spreading your heroes around here on BetBoom. They've you know, kind of disengaged from this mentality of looking for isolated ganks. And just, again, as you've mentioned, just go back to farm game.
Oh, Niku, quick blink away. Requiem channeled, but the Omni Slash, it's going to be there in time. Kiritich getting right in the nick of range to ensure he avoids that fear for the Requiem. And that's going to hurt for poor old Niku.
And that sets them back by a lot on NAVI. Like we were saying, this is the strongest point in the game for them with the blink reveals, and it doesn't really find a kill. You're feeding more into the win condition of BetBoom with Kiritich just being massive now on this jug. Going beelining next for the butterfly. And once that butterfly is up, suddenly this damage coming out from Got the Juice, not as relevant. Your lockdown options on NAVI is very reliant on just really single target blow-ups later on and the Requiem Fear. Which again, as time goes on, you start to get answers. You know, BKB start to become a possibility if needed. Maybe some of the aura items start to come in as well. The Pipe from Miero will offset a lot of that initial magical burst as well from NAVI. And for NAVI, there's just been no progress, right? Like, all these items are up, reaching the 20-minute mark. They are set up for Tormentor at the very least. But again, at some point, you will have to look for a fight, and you will have to start to think about some tier 2 takes, setups on Roshan if you'd want that. Think about like the long-term transition into like a mid to late game scenario for your team. And the ideal situation for this kind of lineup is at least a tier 1, at least a tier 2 down. Probably looking at 2 tier 2s when you have so much push on hand.
I mean, at the very least, they are still keeping up nicely. I mean, Got the Juice is only about 1k behind Kiritich's Jug at this point. The DK is starting to feel like a bigger and bigger problem, especially once that BKB is up, of course. It's going to be a rotation now from BetBoom. Save. Make his way through to the Dire Triangle. Shadowblade up for save, so he can scatter for his team, as they will see Niku. Miero, he's going to jump in again, this time with the hoof stomp out. Deadshot's not going to allow him to get the ice path off Niku. He's being healed up, he's got a bit of time, and he'll be able to get out of there as GPK.
Oh, no.
GPK will be left behind. Oh, look what they're doing to my boy.
Oh, yeah.
Look what they've done to GPK in this game, John.
I mean, he got baited in a little bit, right? Like, they missed the dead shot, they did land at least the ice pad, but not all the pieces of control came out on time. And he jumps right in front, not respecting maybe Navi hanging around. It's still close to tier 2. It's still close to that top jungle that Navi still controls, and gets a little bit ahead of himself. Some big punishment coming out there. They are setting up again to steal out, and they do steal another Shrine of Wisdom. So again, some small wins for BetBoom, but that does compensate for maybe a little bit of that loss on Niku earlier. A little bit of a shame that when Nature's Prophet dies, he doesn't make a tree for himself.
Niku's in big trouble. He's getting soloed right now. Save. It almost looked like he was going to do it himself. It really did. Niku dying another time. A perfect setup from Save. And I'll tell you what, John, that's a concerning sign for Navi. Niku's just not having a great time surviving.
No, and that's the second time we've seen him in that position. The first time down bot, now in the bot lane as well, closer to their tier 2. He has a little bit of a target painted on his back, but that's all from the movement that BetBoom's been doing, right? Like, they've been taking this Shrine of Wisdom. It should, you know, there's no defensive vision there to stop that or to even try to punish that. They make use of that area really well, considering they've gotten it twice.
Save. Oh. It's been such a nuisance here, Save. Got the juice. He got his BKB off the courier just in the nick of time. Save. Maybe should have killed the courier first. Riddies, he will stick around and be the sacrificial lamb. In fact, never mind, he will not. Decrepify TP will prove to be enough. And somehow they even got the juice out of there. And again, the real unfortunate part was Save saw the courier coming in. The BKB was on the courier. Had he chose the courier first, that probably would have just been a kill on the DK. But you know, it's pretty hard to know at the time.
It is. I think the risk there is that, you know, you just instantly blink off, or you've got a little bit of a window for a blink away from Got the Juice. So it's a risk you have to kind of balance out. They did force the BKB usage instantly, so it's down a charge, which doesn't feel great for Got the Juice. But 8 seconds is still significant at the very least. And I do like what BetBoom's doing, right? Like, again, they're looking for opportunities. Now they're starting to set up some wards around potential Roshan later on, waiting for the nighttime shift perhaps to kind of try to contest on their own up top. They even have a ward down bot anyhow, so they have a clue as to when Na'Vi will try to play that group up game and take this big objective. In fact, they see them just walking in. This ward not taken out at the cliff.
It almost feels like Na'Vi just want to force a fight around this Roshan pit. They haven't even tried to sneak in. BetBoom. You pick up a butterfly on Kiritich. He's got a big power spike now, and they're moving in. Zayat's actually almost just dead. In fact, Roshan's about to kill him. Zayat still running, does get taken down, and now the double ice path. Oh, Riddies is gone. They've already lost both their supports. But Na'Vi, they can't leave. Roshan's still available. They've got to fight this one out. The buyback's incoming. Zayat, he'll commit his GPK. Will go down. Meanwhile, Kiritich trying to sneak the Roshan. He's almost there. He just needs a bit more time.
No way.
And he should be able to get away with it, and he does. Now the Omni. And Mira with the double stun. Got the juice. Trying to run. Nico. Nico's trying to salvage. And he might have it. Miro's down. Kiritich needs to run, and he will do so. Save jump, get back in. Now Nico's gone. What? What do you mean? Save will do it him damn self, but he will go down eventually. A 4-for-2 trade. I guess a 4-for-3 considering the buyback from Zayat. I mean, what happened, John?
I mean, it's just really great staggered play from both sides, I will say. A lot of good moments coming out for the side of BetBoom. Maybe this choice to go for the Aegis. I mean, in the end, you do get that Aegis up. For Kiritich, it also cost him like opportunities to stand in front, to get some hits, to clean up some of these softer cores, to maybe get better Omni Slash, get a better spin-off. And that is the trade-off. You sacrifice some of your teammates for that Aegis. You deny it away from Na'Vi at the least.
Look at this.
It's just really good poke. Again, all of this came down to just having that vision set up from BetBoom, and then just kind of dancing around. The patience on the side from Got the Juice to wait for his BKB, just allowing, having the confidence that PMA was tanky enough as well. Just dancing around all of this junk.
I just realized Got the Juice was just pinging bags of gold on the ground mid-fight. Don't know why I was doing that. No, I mean, it looked like such a horrible fight.
Oh, yeah.
For Na'Vi. It's actually unbelievable they managed to turn it around. And that was that particular moment. Got the Juice. He got saved with the Decrepify on the tail end of that. And Niku, seeing the opening, jumping in for the Requiem. Unable to quite find Kiritich, but he found practically everyone else. Props to Save for kind of salvaging a little bit at the tail end of that, but ultimately not quite enough.
No, and it was really unfortunate for Kiritich as well. His Omni ended up going onto an Enchanted creep.
Oh.
Like, he wasted at least 3-4 slashes on that thing at the tail end, and couldn't quite find the cleanup. I think if that wasn't there, or if he got luckier with bounces, it would have been more even.
They're gonna try and pick up the Juice, but he's a tanky boy, even with the Spirit Vessel against him. They won't be able to lock him down, and now Na'Vi, they seem like they might reset and go again. Do they want to commit? I mean, it's against 5 heroes. They're not 5ers themselves, and in fact, they will not. They'll hold the high ground of that Radiant jungle for now. Kiritich.
Oh, do you see him?
Be careful, sir. He'll hesitate. He knows something's wrong. I mean, mind you, it's not going to be that easy to do with Kiritich, Sean. He's got the double life available with the Aegis. If it wasn't already hard enough to just find one life. They'll move into that tier 2 bottom tower, Na'Vi. Meanwhile, BetBoom, they'll start forcing in the mid tier 2 tower, and I think Na'Vi might be forced to try and get a defense going here.
They do have time, but they'll just have to go for the trade. I don't believe a high ground's coming out from BetBoom just yet. Oh.
Maybe. I mean, they've got 2 minutes.
That's fair. For Na'Vi, I think they could try to maybe rush it themselves, TP back for the defense. The ultimates are all back up, and I think the one issue you'll have is you'll always have GPK split pushing, so you've always got to kind of try to find a solution. And now you've got to try to find a way to jump Kiritich. Your most ideal way is really just Got the Juice with Blink, but it's difficult to see that happening smoothly up against the Jog.
Let's see if it does work out. Kiritich, he's not backing off here, Jonathan. 1.5 minutes on the Aegis. Kiritich will play it safe. Does get his Aghanim Scepter, though. Keep in mind, no buyback gold available for Kiritich. Not that he'd need it in the opposing base anyway. So you want to commit with the Ags. You've still got a minute left on the Aegis, but Na'Vi, they're sneaking up from the backside. Got the Juice, trying to find the supports. Kataomi, though, with a very nice ice path. Again onto Toe, and Nico! Nico, he's still alive?
Save!
Nico's still alive! Oh, and he gets the Requiem off in time. Miero's down. PMA trying to man fight here. He'll find GPK, but he does end up dying as now Zayat's also being chased by Kiritic. Kiritic, oh, Neko jumps in. He'll save Zayat. Gives him another chance at life. Riddies, meanwhile, he'll go for a run. He's pretty slow right now and probably will end up dying. And he will. Do you go back for the high ground?
And that was the entire salvo out from Navi. You've got the numbers advantage. You've got Swift Slash coming off in a short moment. I will say in that last tail of the fight, Riddies is just doing so much work, right? All of these decreps, all of these heals coming in, providing that little bit of a window for Niku to actually get his Requiem off. Just that little bit of durability. The racks will still fall, but at least you nullify a threat onto a secondary with no tier 2s up. Although, Kiritic is actually going to look to force it a little bit more here.
Kiritic, he knows how strong he is right now. BetBoom, they are still the much stronger team at this point. I mean, Navi, they've been trying to show us some brilliant moments here, but BetBoom still the stronger team as of this point in this game, number 1 of this best-of-3 series. See if they can find a way to defend this second lane of barracks. So far, the range racks is gone, and it seems like they will not be greedy. Kiritic, he'll leave the melee barracks alone, more than happy with the prizes he's claimed. And I don't quite blame him, John. He should be happy.
Yeah, it still works out in their favor. It was a good enough defense from Navi, but it's hard to say that when you still lose your racks, but I suppose you could have lost more. The threat of Megas, or at least the threat of 2 full racks falling, is quite high. And Navi, for their part, despite all of that, they're only 2k behind. So it's still a relatively even game. You're just seeing how many things have to go right for Navi. You have to be careful with your angles, and the area control that you have on the side of BetBoom is massive. You can never underestimate a good ice pad coming in here from Kataomi. And for Navi, you still have some tools coming in to help rectify this. You've got the Sight of Vice coming in from Niku, another source of single target control, which again is very pivotal in trying to catch out Kiritic on that jug before he can Omni, Swift, or just spin. You do need that jump initiation, and it's got to come either from that SF or the DK. Tormentor going the way of BetBoom again, a little bit of a free shard up for Kataomi. Just a little bit more going on with Liquid Fire and Liquid Frost up now. Just more slows to have to contend with, more damage coming in, which is always pleasant. And for Navi, again, it's just a matter of how fast can you get the single target control going. You've got a BKB coming in for PMA as well. It's still a ways off from finishing the farm on that one. But it's really the Sight of Vice for Niku that should change the game. Just about 380 gold away, so not too far off from that. The issue is, can you actually catch someone? Because we've seen them hit these timings, we've seen them hit these item spikes that on paper should be really good, but BetBoom's been able to dance around them quite nicely and kind of exploit some weaknesses from Navi in terms of where they are in the map. Sometimes they just get a bit greedy.
You've got to give big props to BetBoom, considering that this game 1 draft, like the plan was to get active very early on with this Prophet, and it just got shut down so effectively by Navi, but yeah, they kept their composure, and they're just looking fantastic now for this game number 1. Certainly feels like their game to lose at the moment. That's for sure. Navi, though, still holding on strong. 4-man smoke committed by BetBoom. A counter smoke now by Navi. They'll run through the bottom lane. So will the side of BetBoom. They might legitimately run directly towards each other. In fact, never mind. BetBoom, they change their mind. They'll run south. Is this even an aggressive smoke, or are they just trying to reposition here?
It looks like they might be thinking about setting up for, say, a fast roach respawn, which could be a little bit quick, 30 seconds away, and they're already set to kind of ambush.
Got the juice, getting caught by an ice path. Kataomi, they're looking to back off as Niku. He'll just jump right in with his BKB, but that's his BKB down. Has now got the juice, trying to find the Jakiro, but Kataomi still out of there. He's fine, as now Miero jumps in. Hoofstop is out, and they've got the juice. There goes your carry. It's all up to Niku to get the damage out if they want to keep fighting, and they will not. Here comes GPK, looking for some stragglers. He won't find them. But BetBoom, they've smoked up again. They want more. Second Roshan now officially available. We've lost the Poogie, Jonathan.
Oh, no.
We have officially lost the Poogie.
Never feels good when those Poogies run away.
Oh, big stun as well. Miero and Rick.
All right.
First hit deletion. Make it another. Zayat, he's gone. Kiritic, my goodness.
He's been unstoppable on this Jug. He's been able to manage his lane well. He knew what to do with farm. He knew where to be. He knows when to Omni Slash, where, when he's free to do so. His decision to take that Roche did pay off earlier, and now they'll find her secondary. Navi, I mean, half a minute is a long time here for Got the Juice to get back in, and you have to deal with a high ground defense, a potential threat onto your Ancient already. There's a tier 2 they could clean up here on BetBoom if they'd want. It looks like they'll kind of play it safe, take care of that first. But Navi, again, it's been hard to work these angles out. You have two supports that are really good at sustaining and really good at pushing, not really able to set you up. So every single time Navi has to go for these fights, it's very high risk. You have to jump in first with your SF. You have to jump in first with your DK. Try to find the stuns on these targets and hope that you can get your spells off. Hope that Requiem can kick in. And the damage and control provides you coverage to kind of play your game. It's very difficult for, like, say, PMA to play this in and out bristleback game when there's no threat from your supports. Like, that feels like the best way for the bristleback to kind of have a threat. He's being backed up nicely with supports who can help him control. You don't really have that when you've got the Enchantress and the Pugna around. They've got some slows, yes, but nothing really to massively threaten, which means, again, that all of that pressure is just on Got the Juice and Niku, and they've just not had the smoothest time in trying to play that frontline jump.
Well, Got the Juice popped Dragon form there. Looks like he was ready for a fight. It will not come. I do not believe BetBoom have seen that he's committed that, so could work in their favor, John. They might just wait it out and rush the base if they do ever find out. But now, BetBoom, they'll hang on the low ground. They'll just look for a Shrine of Wisdom.
Yeah, this could be really awkward. I mean, Got the Juice just bought out his Reaver.
Oh.
So buyback's like 1.1k away if they do get caught off guard, or they just get initiated on a high ground defense. You're going to be playing without your DK, which, again, it just feels like the damage isn't there when you've went full magical on Niku and you went full durability on PMA.
Oh, his Dragon form's on cooldown for 45 here, John. He's going to have no Dragon form. It's just about to wear off. And they know it too. They saw him. Kiritich, he'll move in. How do you fight now? He's got the juice. He'll jump in the old-fashioned way. Does absolutely nothing as Kiritich with the Swift Slash. Gonna force him back. BetBoom still paying their respects, but PMA's BKB about to wear off as well. Nothing really holding BetBoom back now from going for this bottom lane of Barracks. At least I don't think so. Not quite yet. You've still got 15 seconds for the Dragon Fall. Kiritich to move in again. There's your range Barracks gone. They'll move on to the melee. Jump in from Got the Juice. Dragon form is still 5 away. They'll stampede in the hoof stomp. Oh, Neko is gone as Kiritich will wipe them out. It's got to be over. Navi, they're still trying. They've committed some buybacks here. PMA, who'll chase down GPK. Can't even find that. Has Got the Juice now jumping in. Niku, he's in as well. They'll find GPK. There's your Omni Slash committed. Niku and Got the Juice, they're both gone.
That's it.
Kiritich, he's too much. He is too darn much, Jonathan.
Yeah, he really is, and maybe that's one of the reasons why, again, you shouldn't... You know, Jug's not here that you necessarily think about banning. He has been rising up a little bit, but Kiritich on Jug is just a different piece, and I have to say...
Thank you so much, Shiva. Game number 2 is upon us, Jonathan. Navi versus BetBoom. BetBoom, of course, 1 game ahead currently. Do you feel as though this new draft from Navi is going to be enough to force us to a game 3?
I think it's a decent draft. You and I were having a conversation about what could have been better for Navi. I think you and I were in agreement as well that PMA's Bristleback didn't really have impact. This Mars should be able to do a little bit more. In terms of team fight, in terms of lane, it might not be any better as they're already looking for a bit of a clash here.
Save. He does hit the dead shot. PMA still going to be okay to retreaters. They don't really have any other lockdown. Because if you're Navi, I don't necessarily recommend fighting against level 1 timing of an Undying. Though they are sticking around to try and contest this bottom bounty rune. Zayats will eventually retreat. PMA still posturing, but eventually will leave. And rightfully so, as they are going to end up for a 2-for-2 trade anyway, so not really too big of a deal. Of course, Jonathan, we'll start with the mid lane, where you are going to see GPK on his mid Beastmaster. He'll be up against the Niku Dragon Knight this time around. How do you feel this lane goes?
Yeah, it's pretty static. I mean, you've got the threat with Axe spam later on for GPK, of course, as the panel was saying. And you've always got the Boris to slowly poke and prod and keep that lane shoved out if you'd want, get control over the runes. If you time it at the 2-minute mark, not the most important thing for a DK to maintain, but very important, of course, for GPK to maintain his spam. And it is very static. I would say you're not going to be threatened out as a DK. You're not going to be threatened out, for the most part, as a Beastmaster either. The axes are the one thing. If GPK can consistently land some good wild axes, that magic damage can stack up. But that is very mana dependent as well for GPK. So it's kind of a wait and see, farm what you'd want. I'd say you are a little bit better off in GPK because you can flash farm, maybe into jungle in between. You can cycle through these boars, try to micro for a pull or a stack if you'd want, if you'd really look at that way instead of the lane advantage. There is that. You can see Niku already trying to farm some of those boars up. Completely misses on the breed fire, but that does happen every now and again.
It does. Of course, top lane, you are going to have Miro and Save here up against Riddies and Got the Juice once again. This time, Got the Juice playing the TP as Riddies. Just deleted. And, you know, I should mention as well, Jonathan, you and I, we were watching the draft, and you quite literally groaned when you saw Muerta being picked up again. Would you like to explain to us why you didn't like that pickup?
I don't know. It's not that I don't like it. It's just Save loved this hero.
He does.
It's like, if he can play Muerta, he's just going to play Muerta. There's nothing that's going to change, and we know how he's going to do it. And it's, I mean, it's great. It's good. Saves Muerta is amazing. It's probably one of the best in the world. It's just, you can kind of get tired of it after seeing it so much. But you can't fault Save, right? Like, it works well. It does what it does. It does what it has to do. It's really good poke here. And it really ties in with Undying plus Tombstone. Like, the Calling and Tombstone is just a nightmare combination later on. So I can see a lot of value in that fight that didn't even have any of those combos. So there's a build up into a threat up top. This lane for Got the Juice is just not going to be comfy. You know, you get decayed a couple of times. The threat of a dead shot becomes massive because you just have no strength on this hero. In fact, he had to go Bracer on the Terrorblade just to try to have some bulk here into an Undying lane. At the least, you are limited on Miero by his mana, but he's going for that Soul Ring. It's not going to be too far off. And then the spell spam will commence. Just a couple of decays into maybe a Soul Rip dead shot could kind of take care of that Terrorblade early on if you're not too careful.
Yeah, absolutely. How's the bottom lane been going? Oh, we really haven't looked at the bottom lane at all. You've got Kiritich and Karaomi, of course, against Zayats and PMA. The thing is, I don't expect Kiritich to have any kind of rough time.
No.
It really did feel like a great Ursa game. Still feels like a great Ursa game. Laning stage-wise, he's going to have a great old time, even up against the Enchantress of Zayats. You're just not really seeing the impact yet. And you've once again got a Karaomi Jakiro, which is what I groaned about, John, because I was like, well, why would you give this guy the Jakiro again?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen how much Jakiro can do, not just for BetBoom. We've seen quite a fair bit of Jakiro so far in the past few months, and it's just everything. Like, just look at that combination.
Nice
just like
speed
that.
from PMA, but it means nothing by the looks of it, as Kiritich will happily take his life away. Karaomi, I mean, this guy, he just knows what he's doing when it comes to Jakiro, and as we're seeing, BetBoom, they'll continue to pick it if they can.
Yeah, and it just wins you the lane. It's almost the same story here for Kiritich. From that game one, just getting that steady build-up, no real threat coming out from PMA. And that is a concern. You're playing up against an Ursa. Once that Battle Fury's up, maybe you take a quick fight, maybe you wait for the blink into Roshan, and then things start to go downhill very fast. For NAVI, their own tempo has to... It kind of relies on Niku hitting 6, trying to get connections, or just forcing a tower with that Dragon form. We'll have to see later on. It has been a little bit of a struggle in that Beastmaster lane. He's been able to farm up, but you have seen when GPK has that full mana pool, level 2 access up, he can really pressure onto Niku. Like, the magic damage is there to make this DK tink twice. At least, again, with a level advantage, you're going to hit that 6 slightly faster, and at least you'll have the Dragon form before the Roar is up, so you can maybe do some chip damage on the tower, or look for a support rotation onto mid to help take care of that GPK problem.
Niku's not even having a... I mean, he's having a great time in terms of CS, but GPK starting to really rack up the damage with those wild axes. You're starting to see a few issues here for Na'Vi. I mean, all lanes are getting pretty rough. In fact, GPK, he might have a kill on his hands if Niku wants to keep sticking around. Niku even pinging out for some help now, as he just can't remain in the lane anymore up against all this magical burst. And I'll tell you what, it seems like BetBoom, they've got themselves 3-1 lanes. In fact, Niku almost getting sniped by GPK. How close was that? How low did he get?
That was really close. He did have a wand charge afterwards. I'd maybe estimate 20.
Oh, he even got the self-cancellation.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a nightmare, right? Once you've got the axes, you've got the water runes to sustain yourself here for GPK. Not much Niku can do. And even though a while ago he could have hit 6 a little bit faster, GPK's the one with the threat.
It could be careful. Be careful. GPK, he's going to get jumped eventually here by Zayat to try and salvage this. Riddy's also going to show up, but he's taking too much damage from save. Of course, power runes are spawning up in about 10 seconds from now, so they want to at least ensure that they don't hand that over to GPK, but even got the juice now rotating over just to make sure they do find save, but save, he's being an absolute nuisance here, almost finding Zayat, but not quite. They will at least hand over the power rune to Niku now. It is just a shield rune, but I think more importantly, they didn't give it over to GPK.
No. It would have been a nice one to play with for GPK, looking for that pressure onto mid, or just some aggression to bottle top up to get more mana, of course. And it is a lot of time committed out, though, right? Your Terrorblades not in the jungle, not farming the lane.
PMA.
Oh?
How do you run from this?
You don't.
That's my thing. How do you run from this Chikiro hero? Well, he's going to find a way this time around. But it's just the amount of slow being provided by Kataomi. It's nothing to scoff at.
It is just too much. It's such a good combination with Ursa. Stacking those slows, getting that burst damage. These tanky heroes that you do have in Navi are much easier to take care of with that Ursa on hand. And that's going to be the challenge, right? Like, how are you going to kite this Ursa around? He doesn't care too much about arena. He can rip you to shreds in your own arena. BetBoom again setting up for a nice take on the Shrines of Wisdom, and Navi again might be giving them away for free. Double Shrines once more. Just like Game 1. This is something BetBoom's been very good at. Yeah, finding off this EXP.
This is becoming quite concerning now for Navi. I mean, it doesn't look that bad yet, but it's getting bad. Tier 1 mid-tower at the very least. They are going to trade off those Shrines of Wisdom for that mid-tier 1, which will alleviate some of the pressure here on Niku. But certainly, if you were to choose a winner of this early game laning stage, it is certainly going to be BetBoom.
Oh,
no two ways about it.
They've found everything they wanted. A free lane for Kiritich. This Battle Fury timing is going to be on point. You've got the levels already built up on Miero as well. And he is starting to get into that sustained game. He's going straight for a full Crimson Guard later on. The Vanguard coming out first. But once you've got that, it's like the panel was saying, like Gunnar and T-Gov were saying, like... Crimson Guard on Undying up against this physical lineup, you're suddenly not going to have burst.
GPK gonna get jumped now, but he's pretty tanky. He'll pop the roar out on Riddies, just looking for a kill, and I think he might just have it. In fact, Riddies does have the whoopee cushion to get out. GPK, though, has an invis rune to play with, so they don't actually have the detection, and now he'll turn back around with the axes once again. They'll slow him up another time with the Impalement Arts. But GPK, he's just waiting for axes, John. He couldn't care less. He's just an axe thrower here. Zayat's almost going down. Niku, he's still trying to chase, but you've got to be wary of that amp damage on the axes. It does start to rack up as GPK now on the run. Here comes Kataomi. Riddy's in trouble once again, and he will drop. The save, gonna be chased down, looking for a deny attempt at the neutrals. Is gonna find it. Denying everything as now Niku, he's in the middle of nowhere. He'll try for a TP play out, and he will make it. They have no way to cancel. But it still doesn't really prove to be a great fight for Navi.
No, I mean, again, look at the commitment it takes to fight over those runes. All the space you get at the top lane.
Sunder's out. Miero not going to be able to continue the chase. Tame the beasts out as well. Got the juice trying for the tombstone. Will be able to get it. Miero not looking to back off though. Will continue to move back in on Got the Juice. More decay spam coming in, but Got the Juice going to be okay for now to survive it. John, you could kind of argue he's just sending a message at this point.
And he is. I mean, he's just keeping Got the Juice in trap, right? He needs to shove the lane to farm the jungle. He's not getting that build-up he'd want. You've already got the Vanguard up and running on Miero as well. Again,
oh no. Got the Juice. He'll get away for now. He's underneath that T2 tower, but Miero able to get that final decay off. He'll be happy to die for this. No problems here for Miero. It's a great trade on their part. And of course, he's going to immediately respawn, John.
Yeah, you've got to love that ceaseless dirge coming in. Nothing lost, too bad.
The first time I played Undying, after that classic came out, I sat in the fountain for a solid minute being like, why aren't I respawning? Where's the respawn music? That really happened. Worst part was, none of my teammates noticed I was missing, John. That reminded me of my marriage almost. Anyway.
Says a lot about your impact, Michael Phoenix, huh?
That's what my wife said as well, John. Navi. They need some impact right now.
That they do. And again, the key timings to watch out for at this point is this blink on Niku that he's working on, a little bit of the Yules from PMA to try to self-set up into the spears. Again, the issue is you're just playing into this ultra durability coming out from Miero. This front line on the Undying is just insane. And again, this area control you have, sure, it's no arena, but Tombstone, the calling is just almost sinistrous. That's sinistrous. It's not a real word. It's almost.
I know, John.
It's almost evil to play. You know, it's a very evil thing to drop in the middle of everything.
You could have corrected yourself and said sinister, John. It's still.
I know.
You know, you don't have to go to evil, John.
I know.
Right?
I know.
We just fix our mistake.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm trying.
That's okay. That's okay.
No, I failed English in high school.
Which is crazy because you're American.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it happens more often than you'd think, Mike.
Top lane. Readies. Gonna be perfectly fine. Miero's not looking to back off at all.
No. I mean, there's no reason to when you've got the Vanguard. There's just no magic damage to worry about. And Blade Mail into Crimson Guard. All of a sudden, no one's going to be doing any damage. You've got all the room in the world. Like, we have not seen Kiritech take part in anything. He's just been free farming into that Battle Fury, into the Blink. Not too far off from that recipe for the B Fury now. So, it's smooth sailing for BetBoom so far. Navi are the ones that are going to have to look for a way to be disruptive once their own timings are up, but it just feels like you're playing into BetBoom's timings a lot closer than you are to Navi's timings at this point.
They're hunting down PMA down at this bottom lane. PMA, he'll get the read to back off. BetBoom, though, they're still kind of moving in. He'll have... Oh, he doesn't see them! He doesn't see them. They're hitting into the tree line. That's unfortunate for PMA, and speaking of unfortunate, GPK, he might get caught out, and he does. Navi, they find a decent trade. In fact, a pretty good trade across the map, but they will still lose that bottom tier 1 tower. And the game is still looking pretty horrendous if you're Navi.
That it is, and it's an important kill to find for Niku with the blink up. You know, it's a big core kill, you're severely behind. You will find a tier 1 top in exchange to even out map control just a tad bit, at the very least. But again, it's just scary to think about what BetBoom will want to do. They invade that triangle. They're clearing out everything. They've got the Battle Fury now fully up and running on Kiritech. He's going to be free to consider a move into Roshan or just, you know, keep the flash farm going until the blink's up with a BKB. And for Navi's end, I mean, you've got some breeding room coming out for God the Juice. He's trying to recover. He's still pretty behind in comparison to the other cores. And you're even further behind on PMA considering that top lane. So again, it just stalls out when you can play because you've got a Ringmaster and Enchantress support. Again, they can't do much connecting into any of these heroes just yet. Maybe they could with PMA. Probably your best bet, or with Niku with Blink. But the threats from the side of BetBoom are just way too high. Again, the area control, the single target control they have, this Ags timing on GPK lining up sooner rather than later still. Just about 600 gold away. And once you have to deal with the Drums of Islam as well, with all of this durability, with all of this AoE, soft AoE control, it gets challenging. Navi, though, we'll try with that smoke up.
They will. They've got to try something. Navi, they'll head towards the top lane. You've got save if you do want it. GPK, he's the bigger target. They'll try to head towards the Beastmaster. They are going to find him. Immediate TP's out for GPK, but he's already gone. Shrine of Wisdom now trying to be taken by Save as the double ice path. He's going to come out from Kataomi, trying to buy more and more time. Save, he'll stand his ground. He'll get the Shrine of Wisdom. Now Niku trying to find a way out. Will be able to do so. They don't have the TP cancellation. And you've got to give props to Navi. They are getting away with a couple kills that you probably shouldn't be able to get away with.
Yeah, it's just been rough for GPK. Getting caught out. Not even wards down in that area either. Just really good game sense. Coming out there from Navi, knowing where GPK would want to farm in the triangle and to the left side. And if you are BetBoom, it might be worth it to consider some defensive wards. At least they've got all the wards in the world down bot. None of that's really covering GPK. He's not really usefully covering him. Down bot again.
Okay, they're going to find Got the Juice, who's completely out of position. Not anticipating the rotation that they will save him for now. Got the Juice, in fact, never mind. He'll throw the Sunder out and they don't have the damage. I say out of position. I suppose he always felt safe with Riddies behind.
Yeah, it would have been really rough for GPK if there was a little bit more to help out there. Post-Sunder forgot the Juice. If they were set up a little bit more offensively, 3 deaths in a row just like that for GPK wouldn't feel great. Still, they're stalling out the game nicely. They do still manage to hang on to that tier 1 bot here for BetBoom, though. So the map is still feeling really good for the side of BetBoom. Again, easy access points into Roshan, just more areas of the map that you can kind of hold steadily to. And
Big spike, though. Very big spike now. You got blink on Ursa. Crimson Guard on Miero. They will pick off save though in the mid lane. They won't really save the T1 tower. In fact, they still find enough damage to get the final tick onto it. GPK. Be careful, so those Croakers. Wary of those Croakers, Jonathan. It's Riddies. Go for a run. Drops everything pretty much onto Miero, just trying to TP up, but a very nice ice path right on the edge. Will ensure they are still able to find something.
Maybe a little bit of a commitment out with the Tombstone drop, but probably not expecting anything at this point anyhow. Again, like you mentioned, with Blink being up on Kiritic, and Roshan becomes a very real possibility now for Ursa, and it's at that point where you start to worry for NAVI. Full Ags being done for GPK as well. So much damage that can come in with the Drums of Slama, plus having that Beast mode up as well. So much damage just flying out from his hero front. And we see how long it takes NAVI to kill him. Like, yes, they can kill him off, but it takes like 3 heroes single focus on him. Just a little bit of a challenge.
Well, again, it feels like you've got a pretty big item spike from BetBoom. Like, you've got the Blink on Kiritic, you've got the Crimson Guard on Miero, and now you've got the Ags up on GPK. So I don't think they need to smoke up. They don't need to. They can just play the farm game for a little bit longer. I wouldn't blame them though for going for a big team fight if they so wish. Even maybe a Roshan attempt this early on wouldn't be a bad idea.
Yeah, Rosh is not going to last too long with the Drums of Slom plus an Ursa around if they'd want to take it. I think the key thing is they don't want to give opportunities to Navi as well. They're showing a lot of respect for some of that potential, especially in tight areas when you're playing inter-arena, of course. Can be a little bit daunting to have to deal with Arena plus a Wheel of Wonder on top, all of these whips coming out with Tame the Beasts. There is a lot of counterplay that Navi can establish. The one thing that BetBoom doesn't know is there's no real vision coming out from Navi onto the pit anyhow. So they would be free to sneak one away if they'd want to. But again, a lot of respect coming out there. Considering the game state, it isn't a massive advantage by any means, on paper at the very least for BetBoom. But again, as mentioned, these power spikes are a lot more significant than they are for Navi. Like say, God the Juice has his Manta, which is nice. It's not quite the snowballing point for the Terrorblade just yet. You've got the Orchid up on Niku with his Blink, which is a lot more significant. The issue is, how does he kill off someone exactly, especially if Miero's hang around anyhow. With that Crimson Guard, he's got a lot of damage block as he starts to get the decays off, if he manages to get a couple of decays off before popping that guard up. So it's just a matter of, they both feel like there's a lot more to work for. I think on Navi, this is a very sensible take, that they need a lot more before they can start to play confidently here. Like, PMA with his Blink, probably at that point you could start to look for more commitments out from Navi. And again, that makes it probably a little bit simpler to think about, say, fighting into the Roshan, which will again maybe make BetBoom hesitate until they find a pickoff, which they might find now with a little bit of a smoke sneak into that gate right across the map now. See if they find a flank.
Seems like Kiritic is the one that's about to get jumped. His team is trying to make their way over. Kiritic, he's a tanky boy, but he's taking a fair bit of damage. He'll still be fine to retreat as now BetBoom still moving in with their smoke, looking to cut off Navi. Roar is available for GPK, and he's going to find Zayats at the very least now, jumping right in, but they will save him for now. GPKs are sitting dark. GPK's gone. Miero trying to salvage the team fight, but he's going to get sundered up. He needs to run. The Impalement Arts will land on Miero. He's just so slow on his way out. A double kill for Got the Juice, and suddenly, Jonathan, the game's looking a lot better for Navi. Save. He'll go for a run with the Pierce the Veil, but the stun is still going to land from PMA. And eventually, they'll have their way with him. Oh, that was a fight you really didn't need to force.
No. That was very forced out from GPK. Getting the roar off onto Zayats after he pops the Nature's Attendants. Not really the damage there, especially when Kiritic is forced to reset. So quite optimistic on the side of BetBoom. I think if you just kind of back off, if you're happy enough with Miero recovering and saving Kiritic, you're already in a good spot. You know, you waste that Orchid reveal, you waste your time, you go back, maybe you still utilize that smoke across the map. You can see the win probability heavily favoring Navi off of that movement, and it's at this point for BetBoom where you start to feel like, all right, you've got these tools up, you've got this Ursa who's going into the BKB. Surely at that point, you know, BetBoom start to try to line things up themselves. If they start to miss at that point, like let's say in the next 2-3 minutes they don't find a team fight in Tarosh, things start to feel a little bit simpler for Na'Vi. Again, playing into these fights is going to feel better. They have harder control.
Jump in. Niku has the stun. You'll hold on to it and won't even look at Karaomi as he slowly dies. Niku now mega kill streak for himself and the Dragon Knight. Pretty good considering his lane was pretty atrocious with the wild Axis spam from GPK. With that, BetBoom kind of on the back foot now. You've still got Kiritich that's farming very effectively on this Ursa. But the other two cores in the game, Nero and GPK, starting to fall a little bit behind. Of course, got the juice right on the tail of Kiritich as well in that net worth department. And of course, these Terrorblades very, very scary to have to play up against.
And that they are. And again, I think the key thing for the side of BetBoom is just when do you feel like you can start to play into this? Looks like maybe the timing they're looking for is triple BKBs. GPK, Miero, and Kiritich all working. I mean, you already have one Kiritich, but you're working on the two other cores. They'll smoke now. This one could lead into Roche if one side wins.
I mean, smoke on smoke. GPK is going to get spotted, but they'll jump Niku first. Niku, he's going to be saved by the escape as Kiritich running out of his BKB. Now, in fact, it's too much damage. Kiritich, he'll pop the ulti eventually. Niku, he'll make it, or rather die to Kiritich, who does make it out. Now the Will of Wonder holding a couple down, but BetBoom, they've already found two of them. Both the MOUZ and the DK going down, and that'll mean BetBoom, they can pick up this amp damage. They can move in for a free Roshan attempt.
There's no threat of an invasion out from Navi, not without the Morris at the very least. No arena, no area control to play with, no DK to soak up that front line. Nice quick Roche finally coming in. GPK having a secondary life. They can go again.
Yeah, they certainly can. GPK still has the Roar available. Happily jumps in. Zayats to go down. And it's almost like that last team fight never happened. It really is. I mean, in fairness, that last team fight, you know, this time around we had an Ursa initiate.
Yeah.
They let GPK sit back for a bit.
That's it, right? Like, you just jump in, you manage to get the space, you manage to kind of space yourselves out a lot better, right? Like, you get full coverage on Crimson Guard. You manage to actually get a decent enough roar target and some good axes coming out. And, again, you've got this leverage with a BKB up on Kiritich that the single target control onto the Ursa just won't work. And you don't have anything that will pierce through debuff immunity, so you are free to hit and run here on Kiritich, and that is kind of the turning point. Like we were saying earlier, when it looked like they were going to wait around a little bit, this triple BKB timing could be devastating. In fact, you're just going for one in GPK now. Miero is just shifting into the Lotus Orb, into the Ags. Just a lot more to sustain his team, turn some spells around, take care of the Orchid, I think is the big one with Lotus, and you know the decay spam is just going to be devastating with the Ags up onto even the Terrorblade at the later point in the game, still not the tankiest in terms of raw HP. PMA, along with Niku being strength heroes, just lose more and more damage as this fight gets prolonged with the full Ags up. So, again, a very calculated game from both sides. We're only 9-9 at 24 minutes in, but both teams have been very smart with how they take these engagements. The ball's in the court of BetBoom at this point, though. Again, they've managed to play to their strengths well. They've sat out these weaknesses they've shown. Kiritich is alone, though, for the moment.
Kiritich. BKB TP away with the enrage, not looking to stick around at all. Save has stuck around, just looking for a TP attempt, and we'll find it. It is still anyone's game. Asher now up on Kiritich, so his solo pick-off potential is just now through the roof. Not going to be too fun for Got the Juice if he does get caught with an awkward bash. Speaking of Got the Juice, he will hang around the bottom lane for now. He's feeling safe enough, but BetBoom, they are starting to run directly towards his direction. It's Niku, he'll be the one to tank the gank, but he's not really the one who wants to die first. Niku, he'll get saved by the escape back from Riddies, but it's not going to be enough in the end. They'll continue the fight anyway. Got the Juice trying to salvage his team fight the best person he can as Miero moving forward, taking damage, but it's not enough damage. He's just so tanky. He is so tanky. Double kill for Miero. Zayats on the run out is going nowhere. And Na'Vi, the fight officially lost for them. It's BetBoom reclaiming complete control of this game number 2.
Yeah, and for BetBoom, a lot of things went right. You are seeing some of the damage coming in from Na'Vi with magic, right? Like, the output of this Ringmaster can be high, You didn't have to expend your BKB into secondary life for GPK and got the juice.
I mean, they could jump him. Kiritich? He'll hold out. I thought he might have gone for the blink in, but he decides better of it. Fair enough. Didn't have the enrage to play with.
It's a little bit far forward. You always have to be a little bit cautious. The next big thing I can see for BetBoom, if they can kind of have an item slot for it later on, a nullifier to just take care of these saves coming out from Riddies. Suddenly these fights are just so much simpler. That's the one saving grace we've seen from Na'Vi. That little escape act is stalling out quite a fair bit of time, allowing them to pick and choose how to re-engage, look for an angle in some of these fights. Not all of them, mind you. It hasn't been too successful in the last few fights, but could be a consideration for BetBoom if they start to find that a little bit more of a nuisance than it already is. 12-9, 8K lead coming out for the side of BetBoom. And for the side of Na'Vi, they just haven't been able to get control in these fights the way they'd want to, right? Like, we're not seeing as many connections with, say, the Arena and the Wheel of Wonder as often as you'd want. It's been a lot more fragmented by the time BetBoom comes in. They're forced to play a lot more reactionary on Na'Vi. And where Navi's been the most successful is when they're the ones taking offensive. You know, they're looking for these ganks. They're playing around with Niku with a Blink and the Orchid. They're trying to hunt down these heroes one by one. Or, you know, maybe a wider team fight. But if they're the ones to start it, I think Na'Vi has a much cleaner shot because they are reliant on getting that position.
He's found Niku again here, bottom lane. Niku gonna get caught with his pants down. Not anticipating the jump in from GPK. That is very bad news for Na'Vi.
I believe that's the same spot Niku's been dying in as well from game one.
Yeah.
Just forward in that bot lane. Good vision coming out from BetBoom. Again, considering what happened in game one for Na'Vi, this is something that I think they're going to have to look back on the replays. This lack of area control, this forward vision coming out from BetBoom, their lack of control in shrines, it's all kind of collapsing into this point where leaning forward in these lanes is just not safe, especially down bot. It's just not very safe considering their lack of information on the map, their lack of control on the map.
There goes your tier 2 mid tower. No problems here for Kiritich. Na'Vi, they're the ones that need to find a way back into this game. He got the juice. He's been farming very nicely, and you can see just how hard he's hitting in these team fights, but he's not really been allowed to just stand there and do his job. It's been very chaotic throughout these last couple of fights. Miero's made life pretty hard as well with all this all this defensive ability that he's providing his team. Just feels like at some point he got the juice doing no damage once Miero's around.
No. Again, like just a couple of decay stacks, popping that Crimson Guard open. It's a nightmare. It's unbelievable how much damage block you get from that Crimson Guard. Again, for the most part on Na'Vi, you are stuck on all physical. So once that's up, you just have no way of stopping. Or you have no way of bursting them down. I like the solution coming out from Niku, just trying to go for the full nullifier, take care of some of those barriers at the very least, or to simplify for themselves. But it's going to take a lot of time, and it's only going to take care of one target. They're going to have to pick and choose really nicely here on the side of Na'Vi. And again, like, I like how fast Got the Juice has been farming. Again, considering this game state, being only about 2K behind Kiritich is not a bad position to be in. For sure, it's a very playable spot. It's just that it's a very challenging game for you as a Terrorblade to actually sit there and do your damage. I'd say the pressure isn't on Got the Juice. It's really down to can PMA and can Niku find the right targets at the right time as their tier 3 is being sieged away.
I mean, they're trying to go for a top tier 2 tower. It looks like they're trying to actually go for a bit of a base race for these racks. Maybe just force BetBoom back, but BetBoom, of course, see no reason to do so, and Na'Vi, they see a reason to do so, so they will eventually make their way back over. GPK more than happy to just take a tier 3 tower and retreat with the rest of his side. I mean, you can just wait for the next Roshan attempt. There's no need to rush this. And in fact, BetBoom, they're just going to smoke up as 4, so they'll run towards the Twin Gates. Maybe head over to the top lane instead. Roshan, I mean, we'll find out soon when it's going to respawn.
And that's going to be the major flashpoint for sure. Na'Vi cannot allow another free take coming out there for BetBoom. They were, again, they had a good read earlier, the smoke on smoke. They knew that was around the timing. BetBoom would be on the hunt for an engagement or try to get an ambush going into Roche. Didn't quite cleanly line up their way, but they should have that read. Next Roshan would lead to severe damage under high ground if you're not too careful. At the very least, a decent snipe on GPK's courier, so you won't have at the very that full Shivas anytime soon. You do have the gold fully for the plate mail, so that is a little bit of a stall out. I don't think it's the most significant, considering that how much damage you're doing elsewhere anyway, and how much you lose out, how soft these heroes get on Navi with just some decay spam. I'd argue Miero's BKB is going to be the bigger item timing compared to the Shivas coming in, just because if Miero is just free to stand, spam out all the decays in the world, what are you going to do? Your lineup is just not going to be tanky enough, as it is a smoke on smoke again going into the Roche.
Absolutely. Second Roshan of the game now. Certainly something Navi cannot afford to allow to go to the way of BetBoom. They might not have too much of a choice in this matter if they can't win this team fight. Navi still holding their position in the river. BetBoom back into the Radiant jungle they'll go. Navi will move into that dyed triangle now, not feeling too safe. There is vision in the Radiant jungle. If BetBoom have their smoke wear off, which it just about will, they will take out the ward. So now Navi knowing the position of BetBoom, but there's going to be another smoke out here from BetBoom. Navi still patiently trying to make their way in.
Rune taken. They know the position.
Shield rune for Niku. He's going to jump in with it. Immediate Lotus Orb. Double stun out. Kiritich now jumping in the Ice Palm. Locking down a couple. Got the juice. Needs to retreat a little bit as Kiritich now looking to run as well. They'll drop the Will of Wonder, but Kiritich is going to make it. Nobody dead quite yet. Miero on the run. Niku, he'll stun him up. They've also found the Jakiro. Kataomi. He'll be the first one to go down here for BetBoom as Miero, a bit of a sitting duck, will also drop a Navi. Back in the game by the looks of it. They'll have first dibs on Roshan.
That's a little bit interesting from BetBoom. There were pings coming out. They saw the shield rune being taken. So they should have had a good read as to where Navi was going to approach from, but does fall short a little bit. They can re-engage nicely. This is going to force a twice over for a tink over for Navi, as they can't fully commit with a buyback. So no arena, no BKB. BKBs are still up for Niku though.
They are.
There's an option here.
Roshan happening yet. Dragon Form going to wear off as well for Niku, so they're going to have to wait just a little bit to try and re-engage or re-initiate for a fight. That's an opening for Roshan. Like, BetBoom could try to force this. It is certainly risky considering the buyback committals you just made, but it might be your best shot at trying for the Roshan before Navi are ready to go again. But they will not. They'll hold position in that Radiant jungle, hoping for Navi to make a mistake, catch somebody out of position, as both sides have bought smokes once again. Question is, Jonathan, can we see Navi get an upper hand, a nice initiation this time around once again? There is a power rune in 10 seconds. What's the better Tanap damage, Jonathan? Oh, never mind that. They'll jump in. Miero, he's been stunned up. A PMA, he's in as well with the arena. Miero still perfectly healthy as GPK now. He's going to find Niku. Niku with the escape back is going to be fine for a little bit longer, but Kiritich won't leave him alone. He's still trying to run, but Niku's down. They're on to Zayats. Now Zayats will drop to boot. And that's a 3-for-0 trade.
And it's the exact same start to the fight as well, right? Like,
got
get
the
that
juice.
jump in Miero.
They're trying to fight this one. GPK's pretty tanky though. He's going to walk his way out as PMA. PMA will be the one left behind. Navi, they've brought back on both their supports, but it's all for naught. They couldn't get there in time.
And that was just very optimistic to try to go for that play. Without your two other cores, without at least your DK. Without Orchid, it just doesn't feel like the damage is there. Now a very free Roshan coming out the way for BetBoom, opening up that high ground in a massive way. All these transformation heroes as well. You're going to be down Dragon Form, at the least on respawn, it's only a few seconds off. You're going to be down Metamorphosis for quite some time on Got the Juice. So what threat is there from Navi without that Metamorphosis on Got the Juice in the next minute 20? Not much. BetBoom can do what they want. If they want to pressure onto the objectives, they could. There's a tier 2 up top if they want to play it safe. They can wait for some item timings to be up. They're very, very close to the full Abyssal on Kiritich, which would be a massive launching point for them to kind of wait around for anyhow. And at that point, it's just it's going to be, again, a very tough show. I love that Miero has gone back for the Ags. He's been queuing up this BKB for a while, but he goes for the Ags. He hits his level 20 with the Decay talent up as well. That is a lot of strength to lose every few seconds, every 2 seconds. 8 strength every 2 seconds. This Terrorblade is just not going to be tanky. No one's going to be tanky on Na'Vi, and you don't have anything like an Aura Plate.
Oh, no. GPK's in again. Niku's going to be all right, though. Seeing Zayats is there, he won't continue. In fact, GPK maybe getting a little bit too excited, but has the BKB TP out. Gives a high five on his way out as well. Why the hell not? Still, 3 minutes 45 for the Aegis, of course, of this Ursa. So they could just wait out the BKB of GPK before they try to move high ground. We'll see if Kiritich wants to do that. I think that's probably the smarter choice.
Yeah. I mean, he's got the full Abyssal up as well. You are fully set to just lock one in if you'd want to kind of get a clear shot. And again, for Na'Vi, at the least, you have some of your spells back up. Meta's back up in that window. Dragon form was popped earlier. At least just a minute left if you can kind of stall out that way on Na'Vi. But again, BetBoom is just getting bigger and bigger. Refresh, almost done on GPK, I believe, flying out now. So double roar, double BKB on hand. A very big challenge for Na'Vi to try to lock him in, if they have to. I think ideally, Navi's been going on Miero. You've got to look for GPK almost, if you can. Like, it's hard to see. He is tanky, as you've said multiple times, but if this double roar comes in, the game's just over. The fight's just done.
Here we go, BetBoom looking to approach the top tier 3 tower. You do have Na'Vi pushing out the bottom wave, trying to force a defense from BetBoom. Pretty much all they can do right now. It's not looking too good for them in this next team fight. BetBoom, not to be dissuaded, they will start to move up with the Roshan banner being placed. Na'Vi, the ones that need to find a way to defend this. PMA, he's already been caught out. GPK with the roar, but the escape back is going to buy the time they might need for this MOUZ to get away, though PMA still dropping low, is forced to pop his BKB to run. So was GPK, however. No Raxes down yet. They'll have to wait for the next creep wave. And in it comes. Kiritich moving in once again. They'll use him up. Kiritich enrages, more than happy to keep going. No real threat apart from Got the Juice. Has got the Juice. He's just pushing in the bot wave. He's onto the racks now of that bot lane. And they are actually getting away with this. In fact, it seems like Na'Vi's going to find the first racks of the game. GPK will defend.
I mean, now that you've gotten the Beastmaster out, there's no way to siege onto the high ground. A little bit of a missed opportunity for GPK. He refreshed on the roar, but never managed to look for the angle on the second roar, being too far behind those racks in that engagement. So you do manage to waste one resource. There's no double roar coming out anytime soon. There's no double BKB. There is an opportunity for Na'Vi off the back of Got the Juice, just playing a little bit more ratty here, forcing a response out. And you are eating through some of those tools from Roshan. Banner's gone now. Aegis just a minute left. You know, it's going to make BetBoom maybe think twice about trying to get that approach up. But there is still a window if they'd want. It's just a very narrow window at this point in the game. But they are keeping that pressure up top. A little bit more challenging without that banner. But again, possibilities are there. Mind you, all your tools are up in Na'Vi. Meta's up. DK Dragon form only a few seconds off. Arena's still set to go with BKB ready as well on PMA. Again, could be a bit of a challenge if you're not too careful.
Here we go, Kiritich. Back into that top racks. Mind you, there are TB illusions still running at the bottom racks as well. But Got the Juice is here, but they will have to go ahead and defend the bot lane. So just a range racks to be taken. They don't want to give anything away for free to Na'Vi. Na'Vi doing a pretty good job of just wasting out the time of this Aegis completely. They will go for a big smoke up. BetBoom, though, probably realizing this is coming, they will look to retreat back towards their side of the map. Na'Vi, though, continuing to pursue. BetBoom will go for a 4-man smoke of their own now. Swift Blink even up on Kiritich. So they won't mind a big fight. Miero, he'll move in for a quick invis. BetBoom, if they can find a good fight, it's back to the high ground for them. Refresh Orb, even up in 20 seconds for GPK, so almost got the double roar available. Rudy's barely able to get away. it seems like nobody will get called out for Navi.
No. Love what Zaitz is trying to do. Play with vision, try to break the smoke. No one quite walks close enough. And again, a little bit of a stall out. Some opportunities for Navi. They are getting bigger and bigger. Like you mentioned, Got the Juice has not been too far behind in that word. With that, Daedalus does deal a massive amount of damage even through the barrier. You've got the BKB not too far off now for Got the Juice as well. And again, it is getting a little bit simpler to play the Terrorblade game at the very least. You don't need to worry too much about being controlled. There is a lack of control. You can try to kite around the Ursa a tad bit as well. That's so long as Kiritic isn't able to jump right on top of you, you are more than happy. You have a good amount of Outworld staffs here as well, just for a little bit of that stall factor, which is always fun to see. What a lovely item that is.
Absolutely.
5 of them on this map so far.
I hate it so much.
It's an amazing item.
I hate it
It's so good.
much.
Wow, such high impact gameplay. The sad thing is, you know, again, I knew it was going to be good, but it's also the most boring neutral in the game. It's just so boring. It's not even funny.
No.
You know?
No.
It's not comedic. It's just lame. It's good.
It is, Jonathan.
Just so
Navi.
lame.
18k ball. Oh, hold on a minute. GPK. He's jumped in. He's found Niku, but Niku's going to be saved once again by the escape back. So GPK going to refresh, go for the roar once again now onto the MOUZ, but a nice force stop out of the arena. Kataomi, though, continuing the chase, holding down the MOUZ. Niku, meanwhile, will jump in. He'll take care of Kataomi, who will ensure PMA will survive. Now, do BetBoom need to take these risks? That's the question I have now. Do you need to try for these solo pickoffs? Because now Raw's gone. Refresher Orb Raw's also gone. You've lost Kataomi. I don't know.
It feels a little bit unnecessary, right? Like, I get trying to get extra value, but with that space in the map, what do you really achieve from that for BetBoom? Does that allow a little bit more in Kiritic? Not really. It's just farming into the Ags plus Blessing at this point. Miero just looking for his own Octarine for spell spam. You're not getting as much as you'd want out of all of this. And for Navi, it's just a big boon. Free gold, a little bit more room to pressure onto objectives, mid being siege now. And again, with Got the Juice's damage, does not take too long, even though it is a little bit of annoying playing into save with the Ags. But they are evening out the game just a tad bit again. And for BetBoom, that's the kind of play you have to be a little bit cautious about executing on. Like one small mistake like that, an opportunity like this on the high ground.
Jump in. Kiritic, he's run up to Niku. The escape backer would have finally come in to save the day, but it still seems like Niku's in big trouble. They'll force staff him out of there. Now the Will of Wonder back in onto the Ursa. Perhaps they've got something going for them as Kiritic is gone. No buyback available in the Ursa. Oh, BetBoom, what have you done? Miero in trouble now. But he's very tanky as Niku. He's going to jump in. So will PMA. They're both dropping low, though. PMA, he'll be saved by the escape back once again from Reddy's. Still alive for now. The Yules will keep him up, but not for long. They will find the MOUZ. And that will put an end to the push of Navi.
It just goes back to what we were saying here a while ago. With how much Got the Juice has found for himself, if you're not right on top of that Terrorblade as this Ursa, if you're not focusing on trying to burst down Got the Juice, he will do damage. Like, this barrier is not going to do as much on a Crimson Guard. There's only so much you can do to mitigate that with a Daedalus Scotty up, with all of these stats you're playing with and Got the Juice. And it was a decent enough attempt coming out from Kiritic to pin down Niku. Niku's not the issue, right? Like, this DK is not the damage dealer. It's not the threat. It is Got the Juice on that Terrorblade. And he's the one to watch out for. GPK, a little bit forward, has to be slightly concerned. It's the side of Navi starting to set up for that Roche number 3 now with a refresh shard and cheese and the banner in Aegis. This is going to be a very big opportunity onto the high ground here for Navi, and BetBoom are not in position to contest. They don't want to without the Ursa. So a freebie take for Navi. This is the turning point in the game. Like, 14k behind doesn't matter when you're 45 minutes in. And all it will take is just another very, very good fight for Navi. I'd say that last fight, again, the last 2 fights, actually, from BetBoom has just felt hasty, right? Like, this decision to jump Niku and Kiritic, getting kited around a little bit, the decision to force in top, sacrificing Kataomi, just not the ideal circumstances you're looking for in BetBoom. Almost looks slightly impatient, I would say.
Now they're going to find Save as well, just barely in the nick of time. Niku will spend a bit of time just chasing down Save. Nullifier out, that the dead shots are going to make it really obnoxious to try and continue chasing him down. Eventually they should have him. Oh, the blink though. We'll get another Nullifier out. PMA is going to be there with the stun. Keep in mind, BetBoom is making their way over. But it seems like they're going to leave the building as well.
Yeah, just a bit of a freebie. Not the biggest kill for Na'Vi. There is still a buyback left for Save at the very least. But again, that does not really buy you that much space here. At the least, rune control for the amp damage on Kiritic, that could make a massive difference in the next fight if you can get on top of the right target.
The win probability there, John. 52 to 48. Pretty close affair, considering. Rack's now being taken, jumping from Kiritic, trying to burst down the TV the first life, and he's got it. The amp damage making life very, very easy here for Kiritic. The escape back, gonna save PMA, but he'll jump back into the arena now, saving God the Juice. They'll continue the chase though. Miero doing a lot of damage now on the Undying. They've got to be a little bit careful here for God the Juice. He does get force staffed out. BetBoom, they've still got that fight in them, Jonathan. Not to be outdone.
That they do, and again, it just goes back to some of those mistakes in the previous fights where they were jumping the tanky targets. This time, getting the focus damage down onto Got the Juice. You can see how squishy the Terrorblade can be. I say squishy at 3.2k HP. You just rip that to shreds with Kiritic, and that's all you have to do. Take the damage away from the equation. The rest of Na'Vi might not be enough of a threat. Look at that. 2.8k damage just from the Ursa alone. Basically 1-0ing him in literally a second or so. And that's all you have to do. You have to be so careful on Got the Juice. Without the Aegis, playing forward now is a massive risk. He does not have buyback gold either for quite some time. At least 1k that he's 1.4k that he's going to need to farm up. So a missed opportunity for Na'Vi. A big swing back, I would say, for BetBoom now, as they can play the stall game and look to maybe just measure themselves up against the next Roche if they'd wish. They are starting to run out of slots, though, to really start to grow. There's still the Ag's Blessing GPK could go for if he'd want to. Look for something else to slot in there. Maybe even just get the Blink upgrade if you'd want, just to jump in and out a little bit more. Overwhelming wouldn't be too bad to tank up a little bit more either. Maybe there could be room for a pipe. It does feel like there has been a little bit more damage. I would say some way of just isolating Zayats would be nice as well, just because this Ench left in the back line, if it is allowed to just stay there, has been doing significant pure damage. We are at that point in the game where Impetus does do a lot of work. So you do have to be somewhat cautious about that on the side of BetBoom. But we'll see. Again, we're at the point in the game where net worth leads don't matter as much, as we are at 48 minutes in. Next Roshan still 4.5 minutes until we see the timer come in. So it's going to be a little bit longer until you can start to consider some of these safe objectives. Na'Vi is taking the initiative to play outside, though, of their base, shoving out the waves, trying to go hunting as 5, quite a fair bit. Getting a little bit risky, but if they find something, let's say even Miero would be a nice little tasty kill if they ventured far enough, but it doesn't look like they're willing to tempt fate too bad. Nice little spike out for Na'Vi, though, having the full Ags up on Riddies. Having that escape back with 2 charges does provide quite a buffer for Na'Vi to play with in terms of, you know, stalling out these fights, finding a better position, buying time if everyone else is a little bit further back. So this could be the pickup for Na'Vi that kind of changes this dynamic now for BetBoom in terms of engaging into these fights.
Absolutely. BetBoom now, 4-man smoke up. Miero, he'll just quickly pick up an Octarine core. Doesn't leave him with any buyback, but he does have the Ceaseless Dirge whenever he does need it. Counter smoke now from Na'Vi. Right by each other as well, GPK, Kiritic. Should see Zayats any moment, and that they will. GPK, he's going to make the jump in, trying to burst down Zayats, but a very nice arena spear from PMA. He found 2 of them. GPK, he's in such big trouble. GPK's down. He'll buy back immediately as they're onto the web to now save. He'll pierce the veil. The Ursa though, Kiritic, he'll buy back as well. Miero now being targeted, just taking so much damage, but they found the TB. The escape back from Riddies, it'll buy the time. They still have not got the juice. He's out of there. Niku though, Niku's in danger. Will they finish off the job in the DK? That they will. Niku is gone. No buyback for him as they're onto the TB once again with the ice part of Karaomi. Got the juice, trying to get out. Escape back once again, buying a bit more time. Got the juice, still surviving. GPK right on top of him. The Sunder, he's still alive. Got the juice, finally will go down. They'll finally get him. They're on to another. Zayat's to drop, that's an immediate dieback for him. And BetBoom, they should be able to finally safely approach this high ground.
That they should. They do lose their range racks down bot in that entire process, but not the biggest loss in the world considering what you get for it. You forced the buyback out from Got the Juice. Really nice cheese play coming in there as the Sunder was still slightly on cooldown, unfortunately for him. Just not enough to cover all of that on Navi. Very costly for BetBoom though. Like all these buybacks coming in puts you at massive risk. Having to buy back on Kiritich at this point means you're under pressure to find something, and Roshan is still a minute 40 away, so it's got to be the high ground. You've got to commit into it. At the least, again, you've got a 20-second window where Metamorphosis is not a threat, so you've got some time here to clear out some quick objectives.
Yeah, you certainly do. BetBoom, mid-racks will be quite quickly taken. They'll force the glyph out. Nothing Got the Juice can really do about this, but watch. Kiritich, he's going to stick around for a top racks as well. 10 seconds till Niku's back up. Another 35 for Zayat. They stick around for the Megas. When bottom lane is exposed, they won't have to go through a tier 3 tower. Miro makes the call. He wants to go for this. They'll smoke behind Miro. Using Miro as bait for this next team fight. It's going to be a hard one for Na'Vi. They'll still be playing for another 15 without Zayat as Niku immediately jump the arena speed to try and save with the escape back with Niku. He's a sitting duck surely. How does he get out? The answer is he doesn't. Kiritich has picked him off. Miro, he's tanked through all this damage right now. They actually just don't have enough to deal with the Undying.
No.
He's fine. Back onto the bottom racks they'll go. Zayat has respawned. And BetBoom, they do decide that they'd rather leave and play it safe.
Yeah, they need a little bit of a reset. That was the refresh popped out there from Kiritich. And again, you take a massive risk when you jump Niku first because Got the Juice gets the room he wants to do damage. So all you do now, wait for Metamorphosis to fade. Gonna be a nice window to walk back in. You had around 7.6k HP on Miero. This Octarine plus Ags is just ridiculous and Undying. Plus that -2-second decay cooldown as well. There is no way you're bursting this guy down. And that is, again, the massive nuisance that you have to contend with here on Na'Vi. There's always going to be this massive fleshy body just right in front, and you can't really stop him from just spamming these decays out. Na'Vi in a little bit of a touchy spot. Again, once this Metamorphosis fades out, you're still in a position to force this on BetBoom.
It's maybe spotted by Got the Juice. Kiritich seeing if he can go for a quick snipe on somebody. Still 20 seconds without Niku. Refresher Orb now available on Miero as well to make matters even worse. A lot of zombies in these team fights. Roshan now also going to respawn. And it seems like BetBoom, you just make the call. Go for the safer play, Jonathan. No need to risk high ground. Just go for the free Roshan.
Might as well. That will give time for Na'Vi to get Metamorphosis back up, but it wasn't too far off at this point anyway. And Roshan, with a free refresh shard, going to be feeling pretty good about having that on hand for the side of BetBoom. Don't really know who you'd want to hand it to. You already have 2 refresh orbs up, and you just hand it over to Miero instead, but he also has his orb up, never mind. So maybe just, I don't know, double Ice Pad could be nice. Could be the way to go about it, and Kataomi will pick it up. Double Ice Pad, double Macro Pyre can really change the dynamics of these team fights. 2 lives up on Kiritich, the cheese up for save as you don't really need it on Miero. Key thing now for BetBoom, right? These are the conditions they have to meet. You have to jump Got the Juice first. If you jump Niku, Na'Vi can still fight into that. We've seen it before. This DK being blown up, not the biggest deal so long as Got the Juice gets the spacing he needs to use his Metamorphosis. And that's really the big question. Can you do that, Na'Vi? Can you give the space to your Terrorblade to just whack away, to do the damage he needs to do? Can you stall it out well enough with the escape act usage from Ridis and, you know, back up this Terrorblade? Because in the moments where Got the Juice is forced to be escaped act and force tapped out, that's moments where he's not doing the damage he needs to. Right? So he can't be the one soaking up all of this attention, but BetBoom, That, you know, that's exactly what they want. Satanic now fully up for Got the Juice. He can fight back, even as Metamorphosis fades with a Demon Zeal. So there's a lot more tools here for NAVI. It's a little bit more dicey for sure, but the options are there. It's just a matter of how do you jump in now. BetBoom, they've got to be the ones to take the initiative here.
Well, you can see that that win probably going up substantially after the last couple of fights, and of course, Turax is going down. NAVI, careful, big smoke out now from BetBoom, looking for somebody.
Oh, it's a long flank.
It is a very long flank. They'll head up towards the top lane. There is vision here for NAVI, but they won't see them through the smoke. Ward's placed down. They won't see that either. PMA, I believe he was spotted there for a moment. They won't dive too deep. They might for Niku, though. They may for Niku. Kiritich is thinking about it. He'll hold out for now. He'll reveal himself in the end. Jumps in on the range barracks. That's one Raxcon. Just needs the melees. He'll pop the in-range and try to go for it. He will end up retreating. Niku, he's going to jump in with the nullifier out. They'll try for GPK, even with the arena down, trying to put the Beastmaster. They've got him. GPK is officially down for 2 minutes. That's an opening for NAVI. They'll try for Kanaomi now. They'll find another. Kanaomi, he'll buy back as Kiritich. He's going to jump in for the fight, trying to go after Niku, but Niku's being forced up all around the place. It's Kiritich. He's going to lose his first life, and he's in the middle of nowhere right now. Spear is going to land. He'll get the enrage off in time, but got the juice, just doing so much damage. Kiritich, he'll refresh. He'll have another enrage available, but he's going to use it to run. And then he will. He'll get the hell out of there as Miero's actually jumped right back in, and so is PMA. PMA will go down. Meanwhile, Miero's still fighting on his own, but he will end up dying for the rest of his squad to retreat. Of course, again, he does instantly respawn, so it doesn't really matter. But NAVI, they've held on. No megas yet, but there is an exposed Ancient.
That there is. I'd say there were two things that, or one big thing for BetBoom that they did that kind of cost them that long flank. They dropped the ward right under the sentry, and I believe they were right within vision of that obs ward. Save was forced to take care of the sentry, and that just revealed the smoke, which meant that, you know, you had to make this choice on Kiritich. He just had to go for the racks. The jig was up, but that meant, again, you're not finding that angle onto Got the Juice. You're forced to maybe play tag with Niku. GPK gets completely isolated. No saves on the side of BetBoom in terms of trying to bail your supports, your cores out once the nullifiers are on. So he's just stuck in limbo without having to be able to pop his BKB. And without that roar, again, getting that setup for the burst window of Kiritich is just not there. Very difficult spot for the side of BetBoom, and very valiant defense coming out from NAVI, hanging on for a little bit longer onto just one Rax though.
To move in, got the juice. Will be okay. Miero moving in onto Niku. Niku, very slowed up, will be forced to BKB to run. The Axe Chikura making life very, very challenging in these fights. Now he's got the juice. He'll move back onto Miero, but he's just so tanky. 8k HP right now with all these decays being thrown out. Make that almost 9k apparent. Why not?
You'll have to see it. This is peak Undying gameplay, of course, for good old Miero. And he does manage to at least, I don't know, waste the Dragon form a little bit. Waste the BKB, but not the biggest deal considering there's a minute window. You're not looking to re-engage just yet on BetBoom. You did manage to sit through the moment with no buyback there for GPK, so it is off cooldown now. He has the excess gold necessary, and that means that there's a lot more of a safety net now for BetBoom if they want to take that risk once more. Roshan, still 3 minutes until we see that spawn timer come back up. So there's a lot of time here for both sides to consider their options. For NAVI, again, the ideal thing for them is just play with Got the Juice super far back, or, you know, far back enough that they're forced to jump someone else. Niku has enough HP to tank some of that damage. The saves from Riddies is actually key here. I would argue, for the side of BetBoom, if you can't jump Got the Juice in the back, then you should hunt Riddies. Because these escape packs, man, even with nullifiers up, with the BKBs running on NAVI, there is still a massive window where they're just safe, where your initiation just falls flat, where you're not able to kill off these heroes fast enough, and NAVI can regroup, rethink, and reposition for these engagements, find a better target, find the targets they want. and just make it super difficult for the side of BetBoom. So it's a really hard game of cat and mouse for both sides. NAVI themselves, for their part, do have a hard time like starting these fights on their own terms. It almost feels like they have to bait in the side of BetBoom to jump someone like Niku or PMA and just kind of get the ball rolling there. Rely on that escape act coming in from Riddies to kind of provide you that counter fight back in. So it's difficult when that's your entire game plan or that's the most effective plan you have on hand. I can't see them taking a big fight outside unless it's by the Roche pit, where, as we've seen from these two teams, they've enjoyed going smoke on smoke with each other. So that's something we could look forward to in the next minute 20 if it does happen.
Your 5 items.
Oh, yeah.
Here we go.
Let's get 5 helmets of Undyings on both sides.
We've got one.
That's one.
We've got one. GPK has one.
Surely Miero gets one, right? As an Undying. Shouldn't that be guaranteed?
You'd assume so. You'd assume so. Of course, Minotaur Horns coming out as well, Jonathan. Very important. Spider Legs, one of my personal favorites.
Yeah. Those legs are fun. Very nice on Karaomi.
I miss, what were they, like a tier 3?
Yeah, they were tier 3.
Oh, so
right?
so good.
They're very funny at that tier. Very, very funny.
Amazing.
Too much. Oh, Divine Regalia, forgot the juice. That's some confidence.
I mean, his back is against the wall. I think you're just kind of going for the, you know, the one play that can maybe make your way out of this game. Unrelenting Eye for our Undying, Jonathan. No Helm of the Undying, sadly.
Yeah, the stat res is good, though. And he's not been dying anyhow for the most part. So it's... Oh.
Jump in. They got... It's going to be Zayat. No buyback.
Ooh. He bought out the Vlads?
Yeah, he's got no gold. Short 670. Ancient still exposed. PMA is going to reveal himself now. BetBoom still being pretty cautious with the way they approach this. Heritage, he will move in for the final lane of barracks. Niku's going to try and force the fight. Can't really do too much quite yet without Got the Juice. Meanwhile, Got the Juice getting the macro buyer put on him. He'll be okay as well. Miero is still frontlining for his squad as they're going to make the jump in onto Niku, trying to burst down the DK, but the escape back. It's going to buy more time. Niku, he's out of there for now, but surely not for long. They're just continuing to try and protect Niku, but he's down. They'll buy back immediately of this Dragon Knight, but now PMA and Got the Juice are in trouble. The escape act again going to give them a secondary chance of life. Niku, not the Thunder! Oh, he's alright. But Got the Juice is gone. And Niku, he got the surprise of a lifetime, John. He just respawned. Miero's still going.
12k HP.
Well, I mean, why not more, John?
120.
He needs more. He needs more HP.
Lord. 128.
Jump in. Jump into that fountain. Nobody's killing you, Miero. Nobody's doing it. GG's call. 12k HP.
128 strength.
It's been a while since I've seen this much balance in one hero, John.
Oh, Ice Frog's finest creation. And what a game 2 coming out, right? Like, it was, I think it's fair to say for Navi, even though this is a 2-0, right? Like, this